Hey guys, and welcome to a showdown featuring two of the community's best, most competitive players. On the left-hand side, we have the mighty Loopy of Clan ODM with the forces of the Wood Elves up against the Lizardmen of Alfredino, of course, also of Clan ODM. And today we're going to be asking and answering, hopefully, one of the age-old questions of this YouTube channel. Can someone make my beloved Deepwood Scouts with SwiftShivers shards competitive? Because I love them. I think they're awesome. The whole idea behind them being this kind of shotgun unit is so freaking cool. And often people use them and get absolutely run over. So can you make them competitive? The long answer is, it's tough. It depends on the matchup. It depends on the situation, the tactics, and the tournaments, and all kinds of different crazy stuff. But in short, yes, you can make Deepwood Scouts competitive, and I think this is one of the matchups where they can actually shine. So let's see how Loopy performs with them today. We have Deepwood Scouts with SwiftShivers shards 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 dotted along here. They can bring some disgusting pain to skinks because they can burst them down so much quicker than regular archers. On the right-hand flank, we do have double glade riders with spears, and likewise double glade riders with spears on the far left hand side as well. Now the main battle line is going to be made up of dryads. I don't hate this pick whatsoever. They're really fast, very mobile as well. They kind of encapsulate a lot of what the Wood Elves are about, but they can also run over skinks, do okay against Soros, and at least pin them in place, whilst hopefully the Deepwood Scouts bring the pain. With a Spellsing of Life up in the sky, kind of Earthblood as well as Regrowth, we have an Opal Amulet and Power Stone, and leading the charge today, we have the Sisters of Twilight being brought on their Eagle. Now, they look far cooler on their Dragon, in my humble duck opinion, but hey, they're still pretty badass coming in with the basic stuff, so we just have that advantage as well as the Conjoined Destiny. Now, for the forces of the Lizardmen, Alfredino, one of the best Lizardmen players in the realms right now, and I'm a big admirer of this build in general. I think it's got a lot of potential. So we have Chameleon Stalkers leading the front charge. Chameleon Stalkers can do massive burst damage to Eternal Guard, and likewise will do very good damage to Dryads as well. Secondary battle line is made up of a load of skink cohorts with javelins, and then behind that we have a mixture of feral cold ones mixed in with the Cold One Spear Riders. Quite a nice combo. The feral Cold Ones can pounce and harass the enemy backline as quickly as possible, where the Cold One Spear Riders can go toe-to-toe with great Stag Knights, Wild Riders, and the like. Particularly if they support each other, they can do some really fantastic damage. In the far back here, we have a Slan Mage Priest of Fire coming in with Flaming Sword of Rune, Fireball, and Burning Head. He's got the Shield of the Old Ones and a Banishment, which is kind of to be expected that you bring all the goodies. So without further ado, let's get this glorious battle underway. Oh, if I can get to the... Boom. Sorry, someone popped online there on Steam, so it was refusing to let me press the button, but we are now finally underway, and it looks like the Sister Twilight did take a tiny little bit of poke damage there from the Chameleon Stalkers. Honestly, not the worst idea, because the majority of those shots are going to miss, so if you can try and bait out those shots, it certainly isn't terrible whatsoever, and the Sister Twilight need to be very careful. These little skinks with javelins can really bring the hurt on them, but once they get past them, they're going to have free reign to really bully the Slan Mage Priest. Now, you can see in the front, those Deepwood Scouts are eviscerating the Chameleon Stalkers. Likewise, Sister Twilight take a massive chunk of damage there. Oh my god, look at the explosive damage. If they get caught by those Stalker shots, it really does hurt, and they're down to about a third health already, but the Deepwood Scouts are just lighting on fire the Chameleon Stalkers right now, doing some really lovely damage to them. You can see huge damage across the board, but they are starting to get caught now. It looks like the Chameleon Stalkers most likely will be put down before they can really get fully engaged in the main fight. Spellsing of Life is having to fall back, probably going to nuzzle alongside the Sister Twilight and pop an Earthblood, I would expect, to heal both of them up. Dryads are looking to push forward on the left-hand side. Glade Riders do slam into Chameleon Stalkers. However, feral Cold Ones are starting to pounce all along the battle line, and it's about to get very, very messy very, very quickly. Beautiful timing, though. The Elves should be able to hide behind that front line as Dryads pin the enemy in place. The majority of the Deepwood Scouts are still alive and shooting, at least for now. Sister Twilight are going to bomb dive into some Cold One Spear Riders as there's some lovely crossfire, hopefully going to be freeing up the Deepwood Scouts once more. And over on this side, double of the Glade Riders are attempting to hold back the ferocious Cold One Spear Riders, but their mounts are so much better for war. You got the snapping fangs as well as the Soros on top fighting you. It gets real messy real quick, and you can see the Glade Riders are unfortunately forced back here. We do get a big fat juicy regrowth go down on the Sister Twilight, though they are now pinned in the ground. Deepwood Scouts desperately trying to save themselves here moving away from the pressure of the Feral Cold Ones and Cold One Spear Riders. Some Glade Riders are putting their lives on the line, and it's really come down to, can I protect this Archer core, which is so often the way with kind of this traditional style of Wood Elf play. Looks like with one good volley, they are able to rampage the Feral Cold Ones, do some decent damage, but now we have Cold One Spear Riders in the back here as well. Sisters and Dryades desperately trying to fall back and help aid taking down those Cold One Spear Riders, but Cavalry is also winning the front line for the Lizardmen right now. Glade Riders being run down. We still have some Dryades who are trying to make it back, but the Lizardmen, they don't care about them anymore. They're just trying to push through nice and aggressive. Slan Mage Priest is also on 0 kills, which isn't that impressive, but he's going to be popping yet another fireball going down range. They shall be aiming at the Sisters. They do, though, get up into the air, and though the Slan can kind of move the fireball in the air a little bit and kind of turn it into the wanted move and make it shoot round corners, it can't go from the ground to up very quickly, so the Sisters are able to dodge it. Now in the back, it looks like a lot of the Deepwood Scouts are about to go down. They still have 2/3 of their ammunition, so this is a disaster for the Wood Elves getting them taken down like this, but the amount of resources the Lizardmen have had to throw at them to try and drag them down is also quite crazy. Deepwood Scouts hopefully will be able to pull back and do some damage, but it looks like at least 2 of the units are being driven back really badly right now, though. Cold One Spear Riders are going to be taking a considerable amount of damage from those shots. So we do get a big fat juicy burning head go down the line. There is 2 units of Dryads here, or at least there was 2 units of Dryads here. Now if you can combine them together, you have about 1 unit. Really nice cast there. And a big fat fireball does come down the line. Misses the Sisters, but does catch the Spell Singer. I'm sure the Slan will say that was a deliberate shot at the other caster. Deepwood Scouts have managed to rally at least 2 units here, and they're focusing down the enemy mobility, which is 100% what you need to do with this type of build. Sisters also firing down range somehow, despite being on the ground over here, trying to drag down the Cold One Spear Riders so they couldn't hurt his precious Deepwood Scouts, but I'm afraid the precious Deepwood Scouts are going to have to snap back to reality and get absolutely sandwiched by a couple of the Spear One Riders. It's hard to even make out any Elves left. They're just mangled corpses on the ground. Both the Eagles are going to swoop in. We also have Dryad support trying to clear up the back, but as they do so, the Deepwood Scouts on the other flank get shut down by some Feral Cold Ones. Big fat fireball comes in, unfortunately this time does miss. That Slan has certainly been sipping too much lustrian water and having a bit too much of a good time, I think. He is partying up in the back there, waving his hands like he just doesn't care. Popping a Flaming Sword of Ruin down, though, certainly will help out his units, but they are looking very weak here in the center of the Lizardmen, and the Spell Singer Life does pop in with a Regrowth and Opal Amulet, looking to bring the pain to the Cold One Spear Riders. We also have Deepwood Scouts rallying on the edge, loosen shot after shot. We shall not let Ducky down. We shall prove that the Wood Elf Deepwood Scouts are awesome. We know the Deepwood Scouts are awesome, but the SwiftShivers shards in particular. Dryads are going to bomb rush the Chameleon Stalkers. Shield of the Old Ones will help them considerably, but despite the shield going down, the Sisters should rather comfortably able to peck at the flubby body of the Slan Mage Priest and kind of rip him to shreds. Dryads are going to be pushing in after the Skink cohorts, and it looks like the Spell Singer Life did kind of clear up the back and is now going to be coming over to try to assassinate to the enemy Lord. We are going to get a big fat juicy banishment go down on the Dryads. Quite a nice placement of it. You can see the Dryads trying to force push their way through, and luckily for them, the banishment goes in the wrong direction and they are saved from the wrath of the Old Ones. However, it's not quite over yet, because you're about to eat a burning head and the Dryads are getting roasted alive. That is a lot of dead trees, and there's some Dryads in the back. 1 unit Deepwood Scouts, though I would think the Skink cohort will be enough to kind of force them off. This unit of Dryads is certainly very welcome, and likewise is the Double Eagle, which is going to ham against the Slan for now, who's done some really decent punch back onto the Sisters. Slans hit really hard, those don't hit very often, and the Skinks will be now surrounding, trying to drag down. They have no javelins left. They'd be devastating, getting a big volley of javelins into the flank of the Sisters, but it looks like the Slan will be going down. And is it going to be enough, though? The Lizardmen do have a decent amount of troops left on the battlefield still. They do outnumber the Wood Elves 5-1, though it is a lot of Skinks, and we do actually get some javelins pour into the back of the Sisters. If they can take out the Sisters of Twilight, I think there is a chance for the Lizardmen, but it is certainly looking bleak. There are Chameleon Stalkers rallying back to the cause. Going to be coming in here trying to intercept the Sisters and protect the Slan at all costs, because that magic needs to stay on the field, but likewise it does that leadership, and the debuff upon them would be so devastating right now with so many Skink units left on the field. So Chameleons are going to be able to charge in here. They will manage to surround the Sisters of Twilight. Unfortunately, that Slan snaps out of existence and is teleported back to his great temple city. The Chameleon Stalkers just break. There's just too much scary stuff around. Both these bad boys causing fear, getting destroyed, watching your Slan literally disappear before your very eyes would be quite devastating to morale. Deepwood Scouts are pushing back. They are firing in, doing decent work to the Skink cohorts. Deepwood Scouts, though, their main impact really comes when their unit is at full health, or at least full models, because it's that huge burst of power all of a sudden straight in your face, which is really where they shine, rather than dribbling in bits of damage here and there. Otherwise, you may as well have Deepwood Scouts, right? Now, the Spellslinger is starting to get a little bit low in here with the Sisters. She's right at a healing cap, and the Sisters are getting rather close. The Skinks are trying their best. We still have 106 here. We do have some Dryads coming back. Likewise, Chameleon Stalkers going to be trying to engage with the Deepwood Scouts. Perhaps, no, they're committing to the main fight and looking to surround the troops, or just juking it back and forth, trying to dodge shots. The Skinks, they have enough in them, but do they have the courage, the guts, the cojones to stick in the fight? It isn't looking likely, as both units do start to break. Sisters getting very danger low right now. More Chameleon Stalkers and Skinks come in, like a carpet of slithering snakes just crawling over the Eagles, attempting to drag them down, but there's big chain routes going down, and it looks like the Wood Elves shall be victorious. Very well played to both these players. That was a fantastic game. I'm actually going to be casting another game between Loopy and Alfredino right after this one, which I believe involves even more Wood Elves. We've got a lot of Wood Elf replays at the moment. It might not come out directly after this one, but I'm recording another one right now between these two players, and it is equally as amazing. So well played to Loopy, well played to Alfredino. Love to see replays from these guys, two very good top tier players, and some pretty wild stuff coming in by both of them. But let's quickly check out how the Deepwood Scouts did. Please be good, please be good. Well, you know, 43, 40, 23, 25, and 9 kills. They do more HP damage than kills, I will say. Damage value, 746. 832, we got 715, 721, and 520. Not incredible, but likewise not terrible either. And I'm gonna put the rubber duck stamp of approval on Deepwood Scouts, SwiftShivers Shards. It is possible to make them competitive, though it is very hard, and you saw the amount of effort Loopy had to invest into protecting them, but they still had like 2/3 of their ammunition left. If they were actually able to unleash all that ammo, it could have been just game over. But Alfredino so good at weaving through the opponent's build to shut down the back line. Loopy tried to protect them as long as he could, but in the end he couldn't quite save them. However, the Sisters of Twilight cared little, and they were able to secure victory. I'm going to delve into the kills, damage dealt, damage value of all these units in just a second, but if you guys enjoyed, make sure to leave a fat, juicy thumbs up down below. Comment as well what you thought of the battle, and feel free to subscribe. All three things help the channel grow massively, and also there are links down below in the description. If, like Loopy, you'd like to see your videos up on the big screen on YouTube, there's a link to my Discord where you can submit replays down there. Likewise, there's links to Twitch, links to my Patreon, loads of good stuff down there, so feel free to check it out. But back to the battle. Sisters of Twilight, 216 kills, 14k damage dealt, 2,648 damage value, and the thing I love the most about this game was how aggressive Loopy got with the Sisters, as well as the Spellweaver. They are combat troops, not just range and support. You can get in there and bring the pain. You got to be careful, of course. You have to be able to get out as well of bad engagements. That's why it's always good to fight upon your own troops. Fight amongst friendly troops or near friendly cavalry, so you always have a get out of jail plan, because they are a little bit squishy. Spellslinger Life, 1.1k damage value and 70 kills from a Life caster who didn't bring Dwellers Below is amazing. That's some really good value. Lovely uses of the hills as well to try and milk as much work and effort as possible out of these Eagles. But yeah, really good job all around, getting nice and aggressive, taking down that Slun in the latter stages of the battle. Dryads did okay. 700 was kind of the best damage value, and the lowest down to 50. So mid to low to slightly high damage value there on the hundreds for them. Nothing too crazy, but hey, they did a good job just chewing their way through Skinkies. We've already gone over the Deepwood Scouts, but the Glade Riders had an important job protecting them. 320, 169, 320, and 389 value. Doesn't sound crazy good, of course, but their main job is to pin the enemy in place, not necessarily get value themselves. As for Alfredino, the Slan Mage Priest of Fire got 1,308 damage value. Some lovely casts of the Burning Head, and though the fireballs were unfortunately a little bit inaccurate today, he actually held his own for a decent amount of time up against the Sisters before that Spellslinger also swooped into the fight. So who knows, maybe he was telling himself he could take on the enemy Lord one-on-one in glorious combat. It is, of course, part of the great plan. 42 kills for him. As for the Chameleon Stalkers, they really got neutered quite heavily by the Deepwood Scouts, but some of them connected with the Sisters really powerfully. So 270, 990, 430, 1,200, and 1,000 damage value. You can see which ones brought the pain to the enemy lord there, though some of them also were kind of made a bit more redundant. As for the little skin Colt Javelins, they cost 400 gold, and they gained back 500, 550, 920, and 190. So across the board, pretty decent kills, nothing too crazy. 9, 54, 11, and 14 there. For the Feral Cold ones, the Clever Girls, again, they're not really looking to milk that much value back, but just harass and hunt down the enemy back line, keep them on the back foot, and they did that well. 16, 28, 22, and 25 kills. 220, 100, 230, and 340 damage value. Cauldron Spear Riders, 51, 31, 85, and 110 kills. 800 value, 630 value, 1000 value, and 1195. Beautiful play there with the cold ones, but alas, it was not quite enough. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.